Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into some fascinating new data to figure out exactly why AI smart glasses are becoming the single most critical tech battleground since, well, the smartphone. I mean, if you follow the space, you know wearables are totally having a moment right now. But looking at the numbers, we're actually seeing a massive structural shift happening right under our feet. We're talking about a full-scale platform war, and the battle lines are being drawn as we speak. Let's get into it.
Our source material drops a pretty massive claim right off the bat. This isn't just about some fun new gadget or a fleeting hardware trend. No, this is a high-stakes paradigm shift. The data suggests China isn't just trying to compete with the big players in smart glasses. They're aggressively positioning themselves to lead the entire next generation of computing. And you know that distinction between just competing in a product category versus actually leading a computing platform? That's exactly what we need to unpack today.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start by looking at the next computing platform, then we'll compare Meta versus the challengers. After that, we'll look at the familiar EV playbook, discuss the global manufacturing trap, and finally wrap up with where are the opportunities.
All right, Section 1, the next computing platform. Let's talk about this major tech shift.
Think about history for a second. Every major tech shift creates entirely new winners, right? Microsoft dominated the PC era, Google won search, Apple and Android took over mobile. Now, setting the baseline for where we're heading into 2025, Meta is sitting on over 70% of the global smart glasses market. 70%! That makes them the absolute clear-cut dominant incumbent. If you're walking down the street today and spot someone wearing AI glasses, chances are overwhelmingly high that it's Meta's hardware on their face.
But hey, this is the tech world, and incumbents can be disrupted at lightning speed. While Meta is sitting pretty at that 70% mark, and Chinese makers currently hold about 23% of the market, the IDC forecast is projecting a massive, massive shift. They're estimating Chinese brands could rocket up to a 45% global market share by 2026. Going from 23 to 45% in a hardware category in just 12 months, that is not normal growth. That's breakneck speed. That is serious ecosystem momentum.
Which brings us to Section 2, Meta versus the challengers, and the aggressive innovation we're seeing. So how exactly do you pull off doubling your global footprint in a single year? Well, let's look at the hardware showdown. Currently, the gold standard is the Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses. You're looking at 69 grams, about a 6-hour battery life, live translation in 6 languages, all for around $799 US. But then, look at the Chinese next wave. The Quen AI Glasses S1 drops the weight to 51 grams. The MemoMind 1 takes it down to 47. The Even G2, a ridiculously light 36 grams, and it boasts up to a 2-day battery life. Then you've got the LL Vision Hey 2 doing real-time translation, not in 6 languages, but in over 100. And the absolute kicker here. Most of these next wave devices are retailing for between $469 and $599. These challengers are drastically undercutting Meta on price, while matching or just flat out beating them on crucial features like weight, battery, and translation.
Because of all this, we are no longer looking at a simple two-player race. We're in the middle of a full-blown platform war. The battlefield is absolutely packed. You've got established tech giants like Meta, Google, and Apple going head-to-head with incredibly ambitious, well-resourced challengers like XREAL, Rokid, Huawei, Alibaba, and XREAL. The whole ecosystem is expanding rapidly, and honestly, the competition is just fierce right now.
Let's move on to Section 3, the familiar EV playbook and the macroeconomic disruption at play.
This hyper-competitive strategy we're seeing, it didn't just appear out of thin air. China's running a very familiar 4-step playbook. Step 1, scale at home to build up massive capacity. Step 2, iterate incredibly fast based on actual real-world usage. Step 3, relentlessly cut costs through absolute supply chain mastery. And Step 4, expand globally with a highly competitive product. If you're thinking, wow, that sounds familiar, it's because it's the exact same strategy we just saw executed flawlessly in the electric vehicle market. The data strongly suggests AI wearables are heading down that exact same disruptive path.
Now for Section 4, the global manufacturing trap, which serves as a bit of a cautionary tale.
All this intense momentum comes with a pretty stark warning for the rest of the world, and our source material highlights this using countries like India as an example. See, while India is doing a great job becoming a massive manufacturing hub, simply assembling products that are designed somewhere else carries a huge risk. It's the risk of just repeating the smartphone story all over again, where assembly gives you low margins and basically zero control. Actually owning the true platform, where the real power and value sit, means owning the IP, the AI models, the advanced optics, the sensors, and the operating system. And right now, the vast majority of that high-level work is happening in China, not in the assembly hubs.
The geopolitical and economic stakes we're talking about here are just massive. The biggest risk isn't even about one specific region winning the hardware race. The real danger is that a lot of countries and companies completely fail to realize that the starting gun for the next personal computing platform has already gone off. If you aren't building your own AI hardware ecosystem today, you're pretty much destined to be a fast follower, just assembling somebody else's vision tomorrow.
Finally, Section 5. Where are the opportunities, and how do we capture that value?
So, for all the founders and investors tuning in, I want to leave you with this final thought. Look at this complex tech stack we've got. Hardware, models, the operating system, optics, chips, and apps. In this incredibly fast-moving AI wearable ecosystem, where you have these giant incumbents fighting off super agile, low-cost challengers, which layer are you betting on? Where is the ultimate value actually going to be captured in this new platform war? It is literally a trillion-dollar question, and the race to figure it out is already well underway. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep a close eye on these shifting dynamics.